You are now watching Making the Grade on the DML Network.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another show of Making the Grade. It's your boy Addy, owner of those Cincinnati Bengals, and we're back again to rate another three teams after we just finished another draft. Again, I got with me my boy Matty Ice. Matty, what's going on?
What's going on, Addy? What's going on, Dynasty?
And we got my co-host, that boy Good. What's up, bro?
What's good, Dynasty? What's good, Addy? What's good, Matty?
What's going on, fellas? Draft time. Everybody loves drafting. A new toy that you get to play with. A new piece that you get to add to your teams. How did you guys feel about your drafts, Matty?
I got a fresh, shiny Corvette. You know what I mean? He had like 3 touchdowns, 200 plus yards in the first preseason game. It was hard to take him, but it's so hard to get your hands on a receiver with 95 plus speed that who's actually a good receiver. So you know, you know what? Let me grab him, and everything else will come later. So.
Yeah, what about you, that boy?
Hey, my draft was alright. I didn't really have too many needs. I got the tight end. I think he was the best tight end in the draft. He's gonna be decent. He caught a couple touchdowns in the preseason so far, so I like him.
Yeah, I think that was the best tight end coming out.
Yeah, I liked him too. I traded all my picks away. I couldn't make the draft. But we stocked up for next year. 2 firsts, 3 seconds for next year. So
sheesh.
We'll see. Yeah, so we'll see. But let's get into it, man. The reason why we're all here to grade some of these drafts. And today we'll feature 3 more teams from the Dynasty. The Miami Dolphins, the Oakland Raiders, and the Pittsburgh Steelers. And we'll start with a team that's near and dear to me. You know, I'm a real life Dolphin fan. So we're going to go down to Miami. And tight work, 2-time Super Bowl winner of this Madden 18. He started off by drafting a right tackle in the first round, Darian Rouse, out of Miami. He was a 78 overall. In the second, he got a tight end out of Clemson, DeMarco Williams. In the third, he got a free safety from North Dakota, Duncan Grass-Manis. In the fourth, he got a linebacker from UL Lafayette, Mike Flutie. In the sixth, he got Stephen Hales, an outside linebacker from BYU. And in the seventh, he got a wide receiver from Utah, Deion Grant. And we'll focus, as our player to focus on for him, we'll focus on Rouse, his first round pick, a right tackle. That I saw that he moved to center. What were you guys' thoughts on this, that boy?
I thought it was an okay pick. I felt like he had other needs in some areas, like linebacker or safety or something like that. But since he got a right tackle that he moved to center as a superstar development, that just cancels out everything. He's a pretty good lineman already. He got 89 strength, 86 impact blocking. He's a pretty good center right now. He just need to get that awareness up for the whole offensive line to work.
Yeah, and when you're a superstar development, we all know awareness is the cheapest thing to buy, so that shouldn't be too much of an issue. Maddie, what did you think about this pick?
It was a solid pick, but again, I think he could have went elsewhere with this pick because his line was already the strongest part of his team. So he just made it stronger, but again, I think he could have went elsewhere. So
yeah, for me, you know, it's always hard for me to ever question a superstar in the draft. You know what I mean? We like to pick by positions of need, and like you said, there were positions he needed help at. One of those being safety. I was looking at the safeties, and his starting free safety, 7'3" overall, Rayshawn Jenkins. He isn't anything special. And at strong safety, he has Rashad Jones, but he's getting up there in age. He's an 80 speed, and an 80 speed safety isn't really stopping anybody. You know what I mean?
Right.
And although he did draft a safety in the later rounds, that safety was a bum. So again, you can never question drafting a superstar. And his O line it's extremely good at this point. He has either a quick development or a superstar development trait for each of those players on his lineman, on his offensive line. So that's always good. But like you guys said, there are other positions that he really needed, and he's getting up to age in some of those. So overall, as a whole draft, yeah, he got some pieces. Even the tight end in the second round. Yeah, he needed help at tight end, but that tight end is what, a 76 speed, I believe, and he isn't going to beat anybody.
Another thing about Rouse too, he's 6'7". When the last time you seen a center at 6'7"?
332 pounds.
Sheesh.
He's he's definitely he's mauling people. So
6'7" center.
It's definitely a solid pick, man. But you know, his line was already a monster. He got the best O-line in the Dynasty, probably. Shit.
if not the Cowboys, then it has to be this one. And this line is younger, so it'll be here for years to come. But overall, me and the fellas spoke, and we went with a C-, right?
Yeah.
C-.
Yeah, C-. Yeah.
Yeah, C-. The tight end ain't nothing special. The line, like overall, like did this draft make his team a lot better than it was? No. But you know what? You gotta give him credit though, because looking at his roster, we were discussing how looks like he got an undrafted free agent somewhere. Cornerback Malik Hubbard.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, 21 years old, 6'2". He's a 74 overall, so that's a good find by him, wherever he got him from.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but here's the thing with that. It's, you know, we're not talking about your moves after. We're just talking about your draft. You know what I mean? And a lot of guys find gems in free agency and afterwards, but in the draft, you know, it didn't work out as good as it could have went. So I'm comfortable with going C-.
Yeah, his team's getting up there in age too, so
it is.
It'll be interesting to see.
If you look at it top to bottom, if he doesn't draft that superstar lineman, then this draft is a lot worse than it actually was. So yeah. I think C- is a fair grade.
Yeah, that superstar gave him the C. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yes.
I agree.
Right.
Now moving forward, we'll touch on the Steelers next, and we know our guy Chris Murray. Since he's moved from the NFC to the AFC, he's actually been playing better. And he had 7 picks in the draft. His first pick was a left end out of Florida State, Marquise Brutley. His second pick, a middle linebacker out of Indiana State, Harvey McCullough. He drafted a tight end out of Wisconsin, Bradley Hurst. A middle linebacker out of Louisville, Tavares Banyard. A left tackle out of Miami, James Price. A cornerback out of Nevada, Barry McNair. And a middle linebacker out of Penn State, Grant Schroeder. So we'll focus.
That's a lot of middle linebackers, y'all.
A lot.
Yeah.
And the one, Harvey McCullough, that's my cousin. Y'all ain't know that, but that's my cousin.
That's crazy.
Hilarious.
We Graving Harvey. Right at
Listen,
Indiana.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm looking at his roster right now, and it's funny that you said this. Chris Murray now fields 7 middle linebackers on his roster.
Wow.
7 middle linebackers. Shazier.
I'm scratching my head, Addy.
And only 2's over a 75.
Right.
Yeah.
So he has a middle linebacker, Heaney, that's a 76. Shazier's a 90. And everyone else is under 70. So we'll focus on, before we talk about his team and what we think and his needs, we'll focus on his first pick in the first round, which wasn't a bad pick by his measurables and his development, but we'll talk about what we think later. Marquise Brutley. What did you think, Maddie?
Marquise Brutley out of Florida State. He's solid. He's not the strongest guy, but he's already starting off with an 86 block shed and an 85 power move. So,
Right.
and he's a quick development. So the best thing about that is that we can develop this finesse move and this play recognition up, and you can easily go from an 81 to a 90. So he's gonna be a solid player in the dynasty because he has that quick development. But was this as the owner of the Steelers and the GM, was this a move for the first round? I'm not sure what overall this was. I'm pretty sure it was like a mid overall. I remember he released all his players before the playoffs, so he's in rebuild mode. I don't see this as a good pick for a rebuilding team. I really don't. He has T.J. Watt, he has Stephon Tuitt, who are in their prime. So the player overall solid, but just not. I don't think it's a smart move to going forward. I don't know. That's just my take.
Yeah, boy. What do you think?
To piggyback off of Maddie, I think he's a good player, but I don't think he's the player for the Steelers. Like, I think he just has so many holes in other positions, like quarterback, wide receiver, whatever. In the secondary, besides Shaw, he just had so many needs. I think he could have won elsewhere. But Bartley, as a player, he's pretty good. He's going to build him up. He could easily get him to a 90, like Maddie said, by next season. And he's only 21. So the player itself is good, but I don't think it was the right player for the Steelers.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree. Bartley as a player in the right system, if he was in need, would be a great pick. But like you guys said, ends to me in Madden are interchangeable. You know what I mean? Whether you play right end or left end in the game, you could just switch those. And he has, like you said, Tua and T.J. Watt, so those weren't necessarily needs. And looking at his roster, he has 3 safeties. Outside of Shaw, he has a Sean Davis, an 80 overall safety, and I saw him get Sua Cravens in free agency, and that's his free safety. And as we know in Madden is really crazy with the injuries. You could be walking down to get a tackle, not get touched, and then you see that your man got injured, and it's so crazy. The injuries are really fickle, and to have only 3 safeties on your depth chart, mind you, yeah, Sua Craven's a good player. I guess by the numbers, he's an 85 overall safety, but he's a 74 speed. He's an 84 speed. It's pretty slow for a safety. I thought he had a need at safety, me personally, as well as, like you said, his receivers getting old and age, and his O-line's pretty old. So with all that said, there were definitely other needs that he could have addressed. I mean, he has 7 middle linebackers on his roster.
Addy, is there a package? Is he creating a package for about 5 middle linebackers on the field or something?
I don't know. Maybe,
what's going on?
Maybe he's gonna combine all their stats to make one player.
He gonna run the 4-6 and put 6 middle linebackers in all the linebacker spots.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, maybe he has a plan, but if you look at because again, we're not drafting by one grade. I mean, not one grade. We're not drafting by one round. Yeah, you could get a gem in a round, but what do your other picks look like? Because being a good GM is getting depth at positions. Because again, like we know, you're one injury away from your whole team being changed around. Look at my Bengals team. I went into the playoffs and lost 3 of my starting lineups and 3 of my starting linemen in consecutive weeks, as well as Mixon. So if you don't have good backups in this game or in football in general, then your team won't last that long. For me, this was a D.
Yeah, no doubt about it. This is a D, and it could be worse.
Yeah, I mean, listen. Again, the developments of the players definitely matter. Is he a good left end? Absolutely. This isn't us saying that's not a good left end, but to compete, you need to build up your team, and to be able to do that, you need depth at spots. And again, he's one injury at safety. Because if Shaw were to go down right now, then he's really in trouble at safety.
Secondary is wide open.
Right.
And he got John Ross in his division.
He started. Yeah, he does.
And Houdini's a good passer. Cody Kessler led the league in yards, and you in the AFC with the Super Bowl champions. So I just don't think that left end he's helping any.
Yeah, I thought there was other positions he could have fixed, but
and it's not like Chris Murray's a bad user or GM. This is
right.
You know, he's on shows. We listen to him talk about other teams, but I don't know where the Steelers are going. Maybe he has a trade up his sleeve, or Shazier's
maybe
going somewhere or something, or he's gonna switch from the D line to the middle linebacker and just develop all these cats. But this is
we also
draft.
don't know what guys. We also don't know what guys' draft boards look like. I think the worst feeling is being at a draft and having your draft board set up, and then everyone takes the players you were looking for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All the players that you needed, and now it's like, all right, he was high on my board, and although I don't need him, I'll take him because he may be a good player. And a lot of times, when you're not high in the drafts and you're in the mid rounds, those are when you really see how good of a GM you are. Because at those at that point in the draft, there are certainly players on your board that aren't there yet, and it's about improvising.
No doubt. That's well put. That's good put.
But moving forward, and again, just to close out on the point, it's just like our first show when we graded the Bears. That strong safety, although we gave him an F, it turns out he made the Pro Bowl and he played well with him. So this isn't us saying the players won't perform well. It's just, in our opinions, wasn't a need for him.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Moving on, we have the Raiders, and of the three teams, this was probably my favorite in terms of top to bottom in a draft. Darkness, how many picks was this? I believe it's 7 as well. In the first round, he selected a corner out of Notre Dame, LaMarcus Chairless. In the second, did I say second? Anyway, in the first, he drafted the corner. In the second round, he drafted a receiver out of Georgetown, Sheldon Tooman. In the third, he drafted a corner out of Vanderbilt, London Blair. In the fourth, he drafted a D tackle from Oklahoma, Dwight Britton. In the fifth round, he drafted a middle linebacker from North Carolina, Deshaun Hill. In the sixth round, he took a running back out of Texas, Kando Hay. And in the seventh, he took a linebacker out of Fresno State, Tyquan Jameson. And we'll focus on a player that different people have different opinions on. And it was a cornerback. He took a cornerback in the first round, Chairless. We'll start with, this time, Dat Boy. What did you think of Chairless?
So, Chairless, man, I'm hearing that a lot of people think he's a reach and whatnot. Man, he's a 96 speed corner, 96 acceleration, 6'1", and he is pretty decent at coverage already. He only needs play recognition now. Darkness is in my division, so I'm not going to try to give him too many tips on what to do. But overall, I think this is a good player, man. He could be a beast if he uses him right. He could definitely be a beast.
Maddie, what did you think?
Did Darkness make the playoffs the first season?
The first season he did. The first season he did it. Second he did.
Yeah.
So you go from a playoff team to the 4th overall pick, kind of like the New York Giants in the real life. But anyway, LaMarcus Chairless, I was gonna take him if he fell to 7. I'm not even gonna lie, but I'm kind of glad I didn't, because I like what I got. He can be a beast. But he, depending on how he goes about it, is gonna tell the Chairless' story in the dynasty. For sure. You know what I'm saying? So, is this a bad pick? No, it's not a bad pick. But like we talked about, I got a practice squad player who's just as good, just not as fast. So it's going to be interesting to see. I'm definitely going to be following Chairless in the next couple of seasons to see what he does with him. So I liked the Raiders draft. I like this player. Personally, this is Matty Ice talking, owner of the Saints. If I would have took him at 4, I would have been kind of upset seeing what was taken after him. But is this a bad pick? No. Is this a bad draft? No. This is, I think Darkness and the Raiders had a very good draft.
Just to piggyback off what you were saying, I think this is a really good pick. A lot of the times I think we make decisions or or we have our opinions on these shows based off the user. So some users we give a pass because of the user it is. Some users we give more flack to. Prime example, I'd say I remember on the show guys were talking about Ness and Ness giving it up a two firsts and 2 seconds to move up 4 spots, was it right?
Yeah.
And on Move the Sticks, no one really killed Ness. They were saying, "Oh, it's not that bad of a move," but for me, immediately I hated the move.
Yeah.
To give up two first rounds and 2 second round picks. And again, I don't. Maybe somebody finessed the calculator because I don't know how that went through in the calculator. But to give up 2 first round picks and 2 second round picks to move up 4 spots.
Did you ever see the value of a first overall pick? On that
Right.
It's like 500 points.
And this was just me knowing what numbers look like from doing it myself.
Right.
In that trade, I figured that the numbers had to be astronomical, but that went through. And no one really killed him because of who he was, and they trusted him as a user. And I think the same is working with this. For Darkness, some people believe in him, some don't. So you'll hear some people say something about this pick and some don't. But if we're just looking at the player, I think it's a good player. He's a slow development, but just like in the real NFL, speed kills. And at 6'1", he had 6'1", 214 pounds. That's great size for a corner. And to be a 96 speed, he's probably not going to get beat deep. And everything's going to have to be underneath. And yeah, he's slow, but he already has the clutch trait and the play ball tendency. So we all know, if we're familiar with Madden, all it takes is 2 games to ball out, and the development goes from slow to normal. And now we're talking about this corner as if he's a really good player. Now, I think because Darkness is who he is, again, some people believe in him and some people don't. You'll have your different opinions on him, but I think this is a good player. And he drafted a pretty good receiver in the second, Todman. He was a superstar development. Top to bottom, again, like I said, I thought this was a really good draft. You got
Todman, man, he might be my favorite pick of his draft, man. Todman is going to be a beast. He kind of reminds me of Keenan Allen a little bit.
Yeah.
Once he develops him, he's going to be a nice possession wide receiver that can create separation with his acceleration and all that. And he already got great catching. And he's able to jump. He's 6'2". Todman's going to be a beast in this league, man. I'm going to hate having to pay him twice a year.
Yeah, I can imagine. Maddie?
Yeah, he had a good draft. And, he got, I don't know if we noticed, well, you guys probably did, in the 7th round, he got a 6'4", 23-year-old linebacker who's 71 overall in the 7th round.
I peeped that too.
And he had mad potential. I would use this guy all day.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Tyquan Jamison?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
6'4", he getting his hands up on everything in the middle.
Right.
So,
Right, and he's a decent speed at 84.
Oh, yeah.
He's already a big hitter. He has the high motor. You know what I mean? So
yeah, them traits, you can tell when you get hit, that you can know he's a big hitter because you can just feel it, like bang.
Right. But we graded this a B. We talked. It was a B plus.
B plus.
Yeah. Again, when you can get, the corner was slow, but we know that can change in a heartbeat. Got a superstar wide receiver, and I thought he filled positions. Granted, I was looking at his depth chart, and he'll do whatever he has to do with those players. I don't know. Only time will tell. But I thought he got good pieces. Really good pieces.
I did too. I think he had a good draft.
Yeah, his draft from top to bottom was solid, man. You can't go wrong with that. I would have been happy with this draft right here that he had.
Hell yeah. Whenever you get a superstar wide receiver in the second, and he's only 21 years old, shit, you made out good.
Just like you said, too, that linebacker, getting a 71 overall linebacker in the 7th round, that's crazy.
Just having depth, that's, especially with the injuries and the fatigue.
Right. Like we spoke about in Madden. Like, if you don't have depth at positions on your team, it's gonna be tough for you. I mean, even with him, granted, he probably could have drafted a safety, and that probably would have boosted this up higher. Because just like the Steelers, he only has 3 safeties as well, but his secondary's kind of better than his secondary is better than Steelers, so that wasn't a pressing issue. He can address that in drafts to come. But yeah, that's it, man.
Yeah, no doubt.
Another show of making the grade with my guy, that boy good, and Matty Ice. And you, like we always say, like expert always said, hey, these are our opinions. Prove us right, prove us wrong.
We'll be checking for y'all players and y'all draft grades coming in the season.
Nah, that's for sure. That's for sure. And we know guys are always checking to see what grade they got. Always looking to prove us wrong, like the Bears. He didn't let us, get a break. He let us know all season how well that safety was doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, he had a chip on his shoulder.
Oh, no, for sure. So
no doubt.
For you guys, if you guys don't agree with these grades, hey, play with a chip on your shoulder. Prove us wrong.
Motivation.
Yeah, for sure. But that's it, man. We're out. We'll catch y'all again in another off season, and we'll talk about a fresh new 3 teams. So build your draft boards and study hard, because you don't want to be that guy with an F.
No doubt, we out.
Yeah, we're out.
Thank you for tuning into the DML Network. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button below.